Hello, I'm Gary, and welcome to another episode of Physical Format Rock and Roll, where I talk about all things rock and roll and classic metal. So I figured since this is New Year's Eve, the last episode of 2020, I would get dressed up for the event. I'm not going anywhere anyway, right? So we'll dress up and stay at home. So cheers to you, my friends. Now, this episode, I am going to talk about my top 10 vinyl of 2020. First off, let me say there are albums out there that I do not have yet that came out in 2020. So I kind of have to do a review of the albums that I did have. That was tough enough anyway. I had to get rid of some of them. But I know that there's probably a few out there that I don't have yet that realistically might make my top 10. So out of the newer ones that I have, this is what I'm going to do. And I do want to give a honorable mention to Born Innocent by Alcatraz, because I have that on CD. I couldn't find that on vinyl, but that's a really good album. Okay, starting off here at number 10. We have the live album, Us and Them, by Roger Waters. So this is off of his 2017 tour that he did. I already reviewed that one. And some of these albums I have not reviewed yet. I haven't got around to it. So the ones that I haven't reviewed that you'll see pop up, I will get to them. But all the others, you can go back and look at my other videos, and I've reviewed a big majority of these albums. But anyway, Us and Them was, like I say, a live album, and I really like it because it's got some strong versions of Dogs and Pigs off of Pink Floyd's Animal albums, and it also has a pretty moving version of I Wish You Were Here. Wish You Were Here, not I. Next up, coming in at number 9, we have Made of Rain by the Psychedelic Furs. This is a pretty cool return to form by this band that you probably know back from the 80s. Well, they're making some new music, and it's really good. It's nice, moody rock that has just obviously a different feel to it, and I really like it. I'll probably review that one later. Coming in at number 8, we have Whoosh by Deep Purple. So, Deep Purple, been around forever, and guess what? They're still making good music. This is a really good, solid album. It's a mature Deep Purple. The playing on it is excellent. It's got some good songs, produced by Bob Ezrin. It's a good album. Coming in at number 7, we have Kindred Spirits by Larkin Poe. Larkin Poe, if you don't know him, is a blues rock band. And this particular album here, they did all acoustic numbers, and they're all cover versions of other songs. And they kind of make them their own. It's really cool the way they do it. Some of them is pretty haunting, being stripped down like that. Nice, good, solid album from this band. Coming in at 6, we have Live at the Roundhouse by Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets. This is a live album. I believe it was recorded in 2018. Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets is Nick Mason from Pink Floyd, obviously, and a bunch of other really talented musicians. And this album captures one of their concerts where when they play all Pink Floyd pre-Dark Side of the Moon material. So a lot of this stuff that you don't hear near as much. They do a great version of it. I like that album actually more now than when I first reviewed it. That's a really nice, fun one to have. Speaking of fun, here's a great one. Coming in at number 5 is Straight to You Live by Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Kenny Wayne Shepherd, blues rock guitarist. This is great. This is just a nice blues rock smack in the face, full of just great guitar work on this album. Just a lot of fun to listen to. That's the kind of album that you're drinking beer to when you're listening to it. Coming in at number 4, Hate for Sale by The Pretenders. Chrissy Hine and the boys do a fantastic job on this album. I love it. This is definitely a return to form to this band. Strongest thing they have done in a long time. Coming in at number 3 is an album that has been pretty much universally loved by most people. It's an album that I've heard so many people say, this is what we needed. And I'm talking about Power Up by AC/DC. So this is just a straight ahead, great rock and roll album. Brian Johnson is sounding good again on this album. It's the best thing they've done for a while. Also, it's just full of good songs. It's even got one called Through the Mists of Time, which is about Malcolm. And it's, you know, kind of an emotional song. And this one is a lot, you know, most of these songs were co-written by Malcolm before he passed away. So Angus, you know, took those and worked with them, made a fantastic return to form album by AC/DC. Coming in at number 2, Boulevards of Splendor by Cherie Currie. This is just a nice, good slab of rock and roll here. It's got a little bit of punk in it. It's got a little bit of glam rock in it. Some 60s pop to it. Cherie is sounding good on here. She's got a bunch of guest stars on this album. This album evidently has been sitting around in the vaults for quite a while. Wasn't released for whatever reason. Finally got it. Really glad I did. This is just a great album. I love it. It's really fun. Coming in at number 1, and this wasn't hard at all. You know, a lot of these albums, you know, where I was going to put them at what number was kind of tricky, but I knew as soon as I started making out this list and, you know, putting some off to the side and this and that this was going to be number 1. The Symbol Remains by Blue Oyster Cult. This is a great album. I love this record. You know, we've waited a long time for new music from Blue Oyster Cult. It's been about 19 years or so, and they did not disappoint. I love this album, and I highly, highly recommend it. Still digging it. Still, I like it more, you know, now than when it first came out. So anyway, that's my top 10. And hopefully, you know, you guys will throw your comments in there. I know a lot of my fellow YouTube channel people have already done some of their top 10 and everything. That's great. But, you know, everybody else, hey, I'd love to hear the comments. What do you think about my picks? What are your picks? All that stuff. Let's get a little interactive on this. And then finally, I'm not going to do a big memorial type thing, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to give you 4 names. I already did a memorial on one of these artists, and the others, well, actually they passed away, I think, before I started my channel. So I'm just going to give you their name, show you their album, music. They're 4 artists that made a lot of music that meant a lot to me. So starting off from UFO, Pete Way, the wild and crazy Pete Way. One of his partners in crime, Paul Chapman, great guitar player. One of the greatest guitar players of all time, Eddie Van Halen. And of course, the amazing Professor Neil Peart. So, rest in peace, guys. Got my cat up here trying to get on the show. So I got one other thing here before I go away. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this is my wife, Amy.
Hello. I would just like to thank you all so much for supporting my husband's channel and for sharing in his great, great love of music.
Thank you. So, Amy and I would just like to wish everybody a happy new year, and we hope that you have a fantastic 2021. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep rocking.
Cheers.
Cheers. And I will see you down the road.